Hello, welcome to Revelator John. So today I'm talking about writing, the tips for writing an article, a column, for a magazine, newspaper, or for a blog or whatever. Now, obviously, you can submit your work to publishers or owners of sites and hope that they might like your work, might like your wording, your turn of phrase, whatever. And whatever you've got to say, and they'll take it upon themselves to publish. Now, whether you get rewarded for that is another conversation entirely. But we're just talking about getting your work out now. Now, obviously, you can self-publish as well. That's a way to go. So you can generate your own legion of fans just by writing your own words and publishing it somewhere and letting everybody know where you're writing it. But I'm really talking about submitting your work elsewhere and then getting it published. Now, first of all, you have to write it. Whatever you're going to write about, you have to write it. So I used to write, I've written a lot of technical literature, a lot of technical publications, whether for industry related topics, but I've also written about my passions really. So motorcycling is one of my big passions, so I've written for motorcycle magazines, I've submitted articles over the years, but I've also produced and published my own motorcycle magazine. Obviously wrote for it, and and edited the whole magazine as well. So I played both writer and also editor for the magazine. So I'd always look at both sides of the story and both sides of the writing process and also the editing process. From a writing process, if there's any tip that I can give you, it's this, that know your subject. Write about what you feel passionate about, or write about what you know about. Certainly as a starter, before you even put pen to paper or you start tapping away on the keyboard, have an overall idea of what you want to say, what you want to write about. Whatever that message is. If you're going to a potential story, you want to talk about the new flowers in spring, for example. Well, if you have no interest in flowers or no interest in spring, you're going to find this quite difficult, aren't you? So you need to have some link with it, have some connection with the subject matter. Now, that's not always the case. Okay, so for those of you who are saying, well, what about journalists? They don't always know about what they're writing about. Okay, that is a separate issue, but you can write a great piece for a newspaper or a magazine, but it comes down to research. If you do your research, then you can research the topic, and then you become aware of the topic of what you're talking about, and then you can offer an opinion. It's research. If you don't have any knowledge, if you don't do your research, then you're not going to be able to write a valid piece. Now, you might be able to write a piece that people may read, but they'll start picking holes into your argument straight away. So, have some knowledge, have some background, knowledge and research about what the topic you're going to talk about or write about. So, first thing to do is formulate a basic idea. What do you want to talk about? Have that, it doesn't have to be rock solid, but have the notion of what you want to talk about. Create a plan, create a sort of structure to the article, whether you want to start off on a high point, on a low point, whether you feel you're going to branch off in lots of different directions, but you're going to have the main stem, if you like, running its way all the way through the article. Will it jump around from one point to the next point with the next point? Be like a treasure map, if you like, going from one to the next to the next. Whatever it is, try and create some formulation. Look at other people who are writing for the magazine or the publication that you want to write for. See what they're doing and how they're writing. Now, I would err on the side of caution here Because what you don't want to do is start copying another person's style. You want to develop your own style of writing. And I have my own very distinct writing style. It may not be to everyone's liking, but writing's not about that. Writing's not about, making it pleasing for everyone. It's about bringing your own personality, bringing your own opinion, and then putting it down on paper or on a file or whatever it is. So creating a plan before you start writing, then having the basic idea, know what you're talking about, know the research, and then start writing it down, and start in rough form. Start with a few ideas, start linking the ideas together, and then building up the article as you go. So it really depends how you want to write it and in what style. You may want to bring in quotes, you may want to bring in references to other situations, maybe similar situations, maybe might be identical situations that have happened in the past. To give it sort of credibility, depth, so on and so forth. So, look at that. Look at how you're writing the article and how you can expand on it. Also, look at how you can make your article relevant to possibly a person that's never read anything like yours before or doesn't really know your subject matter. Okay, so are you writing for the initiated, or are you writing for those who are oblivious to whatever's going on? So again, know who you want your audience to be, and who for example, now I'm writing for example, a new West Ham United football blog, More Than Just a Club. Well, I'm not going to start talking about Arsenal or Manchester United or an NFL team or something. I'm writing specifically about things related to West Ham United. My target audience are going to be West Ham United fans. They're not going to be Arsenal, Liverpool, Man United fans or whatever it is. That's what I mean. Know who your target audience is going to be, and know maybe within that target audience who you may want to aim a particular article at. So, there are lots of elements to writing an article, lots of elements to writing a column, but, as I say, know what you want to talk about, have in your mind the basic idea, the basic plan, know the basic structure, know who your audience is, who your target is, and then just inject your own personality and your own passion into that article. Now, yes, you have to look at the technicalities of writing, the grammar and the punctuation, and be careful not to waffle on too long in, huge paragraphs. But, get it bite-sized, get the message across, get what you want to, the message that you want to deliver, let that be accessible to people to read. And then you can start building on, and once you've got a bit of an audience, start building on from there. So hopefully that advice will help you. And certainly when I was publishing and editing, I would always give this kind of give this advice to whoever I was helping to write, and also editing their work as well. Once you've written your article or your column or whatever it is, do not submit it straight away. Okay, it's very easy to say finished, send. Okay, do not do that. That's probably the worst thing that you can do. What you need to do is reread it. Reread it. Still work on the column or the article after you've finished it. Look at all the grammar, the punctuation, the flow of it. Does it really work? Give yourself some breathing space. Go away from the article, come back. Can you bring something else? There's something else you can talk about. And then once you've reviewed it a couple of times, you've gone through it, then submit it. Okay? Okay, so don't just jump the gun and think, yeah, finished, send. Okay? Just be aware of how you're writing, and then always check what you've written as well. Well, I hope this helps, and good luck with writing. And if you've got any comments down below, you know, please add some more comments. You know, this video was more about just helping writers that are just starting out, really. The ones that are just starting out writing, have never really written before, and would like to submit something. But, you know, whether you want to submit an article or not, whether you think you want to write or not, just practice writing something. Get on your computer, your laptop, or on a piece of paper, and just write about something and practice writing. You know, whatever you do in this world, you know, practice is just need to keep on practicing. Okay, cheers.